9 minutes. Merely a fragment of an hour. But for most people, it can feel like an eternity embedded in pain and violation. According to statistics from RAINN organization, which is the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, every 68 seconds, an American is sexually assaulted. And every 9 of those minutes, that victim is a child. Child sexual abuse is a widespread problem, and it happens across all races, religions, social classes, and the sad part of it, even within our families. The common misconception is that this horrible crime is perpetrated by strangers and pedophiles. But did you know that research shows that 93% of all child sexual assault victims know the perpetrator? I grew up in Cross River State, Nigeria. We lived in a huge estate with many families with children our ages. We built sandcastles. We played catch. And occasionally, we'd have to cross the street to the other side of the estate to play. My mom was very cautious. She taught us road safety, stranger danger. She instilled in us the values of respecting our elders, our pastors, our teachers. We kind of knew who to trust, and the stranger was definitely the enemy. But have you thought about it? But what of the enemy that little kids are taught to respect and trust? The predator within. The one that no one ever sees coming. Today, I want to share with you how the 9 minutes it takes to destroy a child's life can save another. At 8 years old, I was a smart kid who had just got skipped ahead a grade. At 8 years old, I was bubbly. I was feisty. You couldn't tell me nothing. At 8 years old, I was the kid that played outside from sun up to sundown. And yet, at 8 years old, that was the year while mom was working and my caregiver not watching, an older family friend asked me to play with him, but not in a playful way. He put his hand over my mouth and said to me, "Shh." And at 8 years old, my life forever changed. Have you ever held a secret for yourself or someone else? It can often feel that probably should not be kept. Have you ever held that secret that probably should not be kept? It can often feel like a hot potato in your hand. It's burning, yet you can't drop it. This went on till I was 9 years old. And at 10 years old, of unwanted advances, him thinking somehow that this was okay. And when I finally got a breather, when we moved, again, at 13 years old and 14 years old, by a friendly neighbor whom my family trusted. I was not a quiet kid by any standards. This silence was not my normal. I was a kid who usually told everything that happened. And yet, this betrayal, this God-awful thing, this secret I held in my hand like a hot potato, not knowing what to do with it. Secrets. One of child molesters' main tools they use to make sure that children remain silent about the abuse, using threats and manipulation to maintain control. Imagine if we as parents and caregivers can be ahead of them and equip our children with how to spot this on time and what to do if this happens. This is not the job that we leave on the shoulder of the education system. Open, honest conversations with children on the difference between good secrets, the one that makes them excited and happy, like a surprise party, and bad secrets, the ones that make them sad, anxious, feel nauseous and scared. Knowing the difference can go a long way to help with early intervention. Research shows that children who have been sexually abused suffer from a wide range of psychological and behavioral problems. Things like loss of concentration, eating disorders, anxiety, depression, just to mention a few. I went from a very brilliant student who had just skipped ahead a grade to the bottom of my class. Imagine if someone, anyone, had taught me how to protect myself from a friendly family predator. Imagine if I knew that though I were a child, no one had rights to my body. Imagine if I only knew that I didn't have to hold that hot potato burning my hand, that I could tell my mom or someone else, and that though he were older, wiser, and respectable in the society, I would have been believed. Imagine. Imagine. As parents and caregivers, it's often hard to imagine that someone would hurt your child, right? So we do our best. We teach our kids water safety, fire safety, road safety, and yet there's a tendency to forget about body safety. I want to emphasize the importance of teaching kids consent early, long before they ever need it. As I speak in communities and groups, I discovered that this can be a difficult topic for parents. And so, making them either not have this conversation at all, or wait until it's entirely too late. So I created the 9-minute initiative. Everyone has 9 minutes in their day, right? What if we didn't have to make this a huge event? What if we didn't have to wait for a seminar or workshop or someone to visit your city, your church? What if you use the 9 minutes that it takes you to unload the dishwasher, fold away a load of laundry, or the time it takes for you to make a spa appointment and speak to your children about something that can literally save their lives? Here I want to share with you 3 ways that you can teach kids to protect themselves from family and friendly predators using the same 9 minutes. 1, body autonomy. Body autonomy is the right of an individual to have control over their body and to withdraw consent from activities involving their body at any time. Teach kids the correct name for their body parts, including their genitals. We teach our kids the word eyes, the word nose, the word mouth. We seldom ever refer to the eyes as the big white ball with the black dot on their faces. We simply say eyes. The same should go for the parts of the bodies we want to protect in our children. Teach them the word penis, the word vagina, the word breasts. did you feel uncomfortable hearing certain words? And understandably so, because a vast majority of people are conditioned to think that those words are dirty words, but they're not. They are just body parts. And here's why this is important. Studies show that children who know the correct name for their genitals and are encouraged to use them are more likely to speak up and say no if anyone were to try any inappropriate act with them, and are more likely to tell a trusted adult. For instance, Kim and Sarah are in an elementary class of 14. Kim comes to the teacher, who is conducting activities in a group setting, and says to her, "Henry touched my cookie." The teacher says to Kim, "I'm sorry, Kim, tell Henry not to touch your cookie. That's nasty." Sarah, on the other hand, comes to the teacher and says, "Bill tried to touch my vagina." Now, which of those kids do you think is going to get immediate attention? Sarah, right? So teaching kids the correct name empowers them to speak up and be heard. The second tool is body boundaries. Teach children that their body belongs to them. They have rights over their body. And people are expected to ask for permission before touching them, and they are allowed to say no. Emphasizing that no is not being disrespectful, especially in certain cultural and religious communities where saying no to a leader or an elder may be seen as being disrespectful. Teach kids that other people's body belong to them, and they are expected as well to ask for permission before touching. And when someone says no, no means no, not try harder. And when somebody says stop, stop means stop immediately, not when the fun is up. Tool number 3, body safety. Children are innocent and may not be able to tell the difference between safe and unsafe touches. That's where you come in. Teach children that no one should be touching them, their genitals. And no one is expected to show them pictures or videos of other people's genitals. And if ever an adult or older child, try to do that, they must report to you immediately, or a trusted adult. Encourage them, empower them, letting them know that if something were ever to happen to them, it is not their fault. They're never going to get in trouble for telling the truth, but rather they'll be protected and kept safe. Are you a parent or caregiver or grandparent or know someone who is? Let's make believing the child our first default reaction. I'm going to invite you for a moment to close your eyes. Imagine a world where every child is allowed to grow up without the debilitating effect and trauma of sexual abuse. You may open your eyes. This is possible, and every child deserves that. As a victorious survivor, I feel a sense of duty and responsibility to make sure that this 9-minute education of body autonomy, body boundaries, body safety is taught in every home all across the world. Our children are our future. Victims often feel unheard, like they're alone in their problems because life moves on for everyone while they're stuck dealing with this trauma. That's where you come in. Be an advocate. Speak up for the helpless. make it easy for victims to share their story without the shame. Are you a parent or caregiver or grandparent? I invite you to speak to your children today about body safety. We all can save a child's life, one open-hearted conversation, 9 minutes at a time. Guess what? It will only take 9 minutes of your time. Thank you.